Who is the stupidest in the Pokemon anime? I watched the entire thing from beginning to end and came to the conclusion it's this random ass Wailmer. In episode 575, Wailmer are blocking the Canalave City port because this idiot gets lost from his pod and falls down not one but two different waterfalls into the sewers. After swimming for a while, this fat ass somehow managed to beach himself, and of course Ash decides to help. Using Bleezle's water gun to replenish his energy, the Wailmer jumps into the water, splashing Ash with all that nasty dirty poo water. Somehow Ash doesn't mind and they set off to find a way out. After reaching the first waterfall, they use rope and some help from wild Pokemon to lift this heavy bugger up. At this point I'm already thinking this Wailmer is more trouble than he's worth, and to make things worse, the second waterfall is way bigger, but they get the ingenious idea to create a slide. Using Water Gun from Bleezle and Ice Beam from a Sphere. However, it's too rough, but luckily some local Rattata sacrificed their dental health to grind it down. I'm not sure what the quality of dentists are like in Pokemon sewers, but that's got to hurt. As if they weren't causing the local Pokemon enough trouble, they then took down some poor Teddy Ursa's home and tore them down in to create a sled. After lifting the Wailmer onto it, Bleezle and the Sphere pushed it into the water to create momentum, before Pikachu hit an Iron Tail, launching it onto the slide. But this fat ass instantly broke it and he went flying over the edge, causing him to flap his wings like he's in Flappy Bird. Just as it looked like he wasn't going to make it and fall to his brutal death, this random Venonat decided he was the main character. The bug came flying in, headbutting the whale, giving him enough momentum to make over the waterfall, and probably giving himself brain damage in the process. Now daylight was in sight and it looked like the trouble was all over, but of course that would be way too easy. Suddenly this angry ass Swampert showed up, probably mad at how stupid Wailmer actually is, leaving Ash with no choice but to battle it with Grottle, instantly knocking it out with a Razor Leaf attack. They finally made it outside, and now all Wailmer had to do was pass under this narrow bridge and finally reunite with his friends. But unbelievably, this utter moron decides now is the time to evolve into a Wailord, the biggest Pokemon ever, making him way too large to pass under the drawbridge. I'm being serious, this Pokemon is the stupidest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. Somehow Ash still decides he's got to help him, so Pikachu and Pachirisu break into the control center and use their Thunderbolt and Discharge attacks to get the generator started. But it's not enough to work, and all the local Pokemon decide to volunteer to get electrocuted and line up all together, creating enough power to start lifting the bridge. However, the Swampert from earlier, the only sane Pokemon in this entire episode, has awoken and comes charging in. Ash stupidly jumps into the water ready to throw some hands, but just before he could turn Ash into paste, the bridge opens, letting Wailord dash away, causing a tsunami-level wave since he's so fat, which blasts into the Swampert, sending him back into the sewers. With this, the Wailord are finally reunited. However, that doesn't make up for how much trouble this idiot caused everyone. I don't care what anyone says, this is by far the dumbest Pokemon in the entire show. Actually, that's a lie. Comments help the algorithm. Let me know what you think.